Oh, howdy, hey, y'all. I'm going to give it a quick house tour in a moment. I just wanted to post the second part of my video series. If you survived the first one, congratulations to you. Okay, Slutwalks. Women who are proud of their sexuality. Well, firstly, some women are genuinely hypersexual and should feel free to display that in a collected fashion without fear of violence, rape, and emotional abuse. And it's good we're reaching the point as a society where we can, talk about that in a public forum. That's really good. That said, they should also expect not everyone's going to like it. Dressing provocatively says a lot about you, whether you like it or not. Could encourage unwanted attention in a really immature and stupid society. In fact, a woman who freely displays and donates her sexuality is outcast by a society which sells and cheapens it through advertising. Prostitution and, dating or marriage contracts. I mean, sexuality isn't really anything to be ashamed of. In fact, exploitation of sexuality through all of those means that I just put out. I mean, prostitution could be potentially good, but the point being, exploitation of sexuality is highly shameful. What do you think leads to something like rape? I mean, that's a hugely damaging crime. Victims shouldn't have to feel abused or, accused of asking for it. Fear of being labelled a slut causes rape to be unreported. And don't think men aren't equally uncheapened by this, because male condemnation of female sexuality creates, a culture for females which men will not want, because it's producing really insecure women who just don't like where they are. In short, there are better ways to empower women, but promiscuity isn't a problem in itself, because everyone's limits and definitions are different. Just like alcohol. If you don't like it, don't do it. Problem solved. I prefer the word definition over limits, because there are no limits. It's just what you accept as being a limit of being fun or pleasurable or less painful than the other options. It's your choice. But if you cross said definitions in an out-of-control way, only you can clean up your mess. Oh, and by the way... Scamp's down by the doorstop. He still hasn't made his YouTube debut yet. Look at him. He's gorgeous, isn't he? So yes, there are better ways to empower women, but promiscuity is not a problem in itself. It's your choice. If you cross your said definitions in an out-of-control way, only you can really clean up your mess. The definitions of ethical promiscuity is not being out of control and going after every idiot with a potential STD. Just don't be stupid. Dress as you please. Use condoms. Hold your head up high. Avoid fools. Carry a can of mace. Take up self-defense classes. And you hopefully have nothing to worry about. Hopefully. That's the best anyone can ask you to do. Okay, that one's for the ladies. This one is for more the men. It's more of a male, well, it's traditionally masculine thing to be taken on. So, alright, porn. Okay, society has taught women that femininity, the source of all life, has no value unless they sell it to men they don't like through trading false symbols of power, such as physical beauty or material goods. It's taught men to divide and conquer and suppress any feminine aspects in the name of brutal, pointless, unsustainable, take no prisoners, rat race capitalism. Genuine emotionality and sexuality have been highly, highly repressed in society. Well, of course, until money and power come into the picture, in which case everything's fair game because mammon is our golden calf. Well, neither parents nor teachers have the experience, emotional understanding, or inner peace to educate the young about sex properly these days. A child's classmates will teach them to laugh and be uncomfortable with sexual education. Yes, meow. Could it be because the elder class has been decimated and placed in nursing homes? Without guidance on their true nature from the people most qualified to talk about life, which are the people who've actually lived it, those with the most life experience, children will repeat the mistakes of their peers and ancestors. So in a sexually confused, boring and heartless culture, it's no surprise teens turn to porn as an exciting new thing that connects with their hormones. In this way, considering most kids are confused and have no sexual understanding, porn could actually be seen as an improvement for a while. Porn can actually be seen as an improvement until the novelty wears off and they seek different and more extreme things in a drug addict fashion. That's the ugly side of porn. It's fun. It's really, really fun. Yes, but listen to your body on issues of personal morality. Listen to your body. Because you cheapen your own experience through not allowing yourself physical, emotional, financial, social freedom of all regards. But preservation of the mechanism that allows you said freedom, that has to be considered as well. In the end, Sexuality is an ultimate expression of life itself. Any addiction and degradation of sexuality is indicative of degradation of life itself throughout society on a spiritual level. The adult industry itself has recognised this by creating more sensual, less artificial porn that isn't so rough and ready, which, by the way, I really like, and I don't see why anyone would not like that. I personally don't. I mean, personal issues aside, personal history notwithstanding, I personally think it's, for anyone, it's great. Sorry. Who would not want to enjoy someone else enjoying themselves physically and emotionally, most importantly. So, the adult industry recognised that for the thinking and feeling person, most porn ends up showing too little emotionally and ends up being boring. As John Paul II said, the problem with porn is not that it shows too much, it's that it shows too little, indeed. Now, I do remind the listener, nothing carries any moral charge in and of itself. Your experiences are what create yourself in your own view. Ill treatment of human beings is the real problem here. He's scamp. And the expression of abuse of women in porn is a symptom of a cause that should have been tackled along with all other symptoms, including hypersexualized advertising, which many have come to accept is just another way that a self-imposed authority is robbing them. Porn is just an easy target. Those who pretend to take the moral high ground on this issue and avoid other symptoms are being hypocritical. In the end, for individuals, porn is mainly used as a release from a boring, repetitive world that doesn't care for them. Indeed, there are plenty of porn addicts who are creepy and fallen prey to, heartless habit and arrested development. Learning to see women from only one angle is unhealthy. But those individuals, who cannot or will not choose to see women in their fullest light, should not be condemned by society, more pitied for cutting off their emotional and sexual development at the first plateau, and also for denying themselves the chance to grow and see women in said fullest light. But let's not get self-righteous. Women need to see themselves in their fullest light too, and also understand their own manipulative behaviours. In an industrial production mentality, it should be argued that men are mistreated as much as women are on the sets of porn. In fact, their faces are rarely featured, if not totally unimportant. Literally, men are reduced to just being cock and balls. People like this make up industries, and people need to take responsibility for their part to the whole, whether it's banking or banging. Limitless, inconsequential growth, as we have seen in the economy nowadays, is impossible. Finally, let's take a spiritual point of view. Humans want to explore and experience a wide dynamic frequency and range of energy over the long term, and sexuality is one of the most powerful avenues. The most powerful avenues through which to express that. Individuals may choose to express that with one person or more than one person, according to the beliefs of the whole. The belief systems of individuals dictate what range of feeling they allow themselves to experience, and thus what sexual experiences they would let themselves have. Monogamy is commendable, challenging and beautiful. It doesn't have to be wrong just because it's the road most often taken. The individual preferences of both parties should always be considered fairly equally. Any activity that is seen to devalue any party should be avoided, whether that's irresponsibility with porn, money, emotions, or anything else. Porn can be extremely hurtful to women in relationships, as they can deeply feel a sense of replacement. But really, what I've learned is rejection comes down to rejecting yourself. And you really have to go and discover yourself and become immune to the idea of rejection. And you can only feel that inside your body. But that's a topic for another video. But in their defense, men seek intimacy more than anything else and turn to porn as a replacement for that if they feel a decent woman cannot fill that need. Also, the sexuality of the young needs to be respected and channeled healthily, without condemnation. Any teenage pregnancies could become the responsibility of the elders in society. This would be a great thing to happen to a class of people who believe themselves nowadays to be without use. If people were taught the true nature of their own bodies, minds and hearts in this way, to express sexuality with joy and freedom and love and passion and fun and raunch and creativity and heart and beauty, and to most importantly believe in themselves, prostitution would be laughed out of town, porn would lose its ugliness or even die out altogether, because human beings would not need to look outside themselves in order to feel that they could be as sexual as they wanted to be with whomever they wanted to do it with. In the meantime, I believe prostitution, along with drugs, should be made safe for all parties involved and the profits taken away from those who seek to exploit and destroy the lives of other human beings. Moral judgment is the job of the individual, for themselves, their families, for themselves, and the communities for themselves, but true morality is born in the heart. I say this as someone who doesn't want sleaze and empty swordness from his porn. My mother raised me better, but I do want deep, intimate, emotional connection with beautiful women. Lots of them. Yeah, I'm a guy. So what? A good rule is to always say, It's best for the mind and body and soul to not judge at all and simply decide within the body what's best for me and those I love, and act accordingly, avoiding anything else. On hot topic issues such as this: abortion, stem cell research, social security, agriculture, affirmative action, race relations, animal rights, lobbying, church and state, school prayer, energy, crime, education, guns, taxation, foreign policy, immigration, gay rights, healthcare, sustainable business growth. All of those political issues come down to the one thing: the only choice of power you ever have. With your attitude, what do you choose right now? Fear or love? Fear or love? That's it. Whatever, kitty. So I'll end with a short poem. Sensory distortion begats linguistic contrition that severs our personas into a game of give and take. The institutions that arise turn to fear and reprisal in a twisted social nightmare where no body knows the stakes. The chemicals and sloth condition your self-image with toxic phantom selves that parrot shots and pull the strings. We'll argue our decisions, to hate and fear our inner visions. Inside the mind, except survival, there are no rules and no one wins. You must see yourself only as pure love in the body. Beside the derision and incisions of the state, life is no possession but a dream and a forgetting. So learn to shed your skin, for you remember it's too late. There's nowhere left to go to, and there's nothing left to do. Location, destination, motivation, they all don't mean jack. Reason is free-floating, so is this role that you call you. Turn off your mind, turn around. Open up your heart and love me back. Awesome! One last video for you guys, maybe two today. Bit of a video binge, let's say. In the meantime, Stinky Linky. He does really stinky farts, he really does. Cat tube, cat tube. It's time for cat tube, guys. Wee! Catty, 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 cat, cat. Okay, one last video for you guys today. And it will be a cool last poem that I made. And also maybe a video tour of my new house. Groovy!